Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Talking Real Money. You might occasionally hear the rumble of thunder outside the studio, even though the studio is pretty well sealed. This is Florida, and we get afternoon thunderstorms, and they can be pretty noisy. I think we're right up there with we're at least one of the top states for lightning in the country, if not right at the very top of the list. So hopefully the power just stays up. I have a backup. Well, it's been kind of a crazy day today. I'm getting around to the podcast finally, but it's still a case of having a lot of questions, and I need to get some of these answered. So I'm going to attack a couple of them in today's Friday Q&A day. Just a couple, and make this a short podcast before you head into the weekend. And remember, if you have questions, you can call them into us anytime at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255, or you can write them, send them into us at talkingrealmoney.com. But one other cool feature at talkingrealmoney.com is the ability to record through a microphone in your computer, or better yet, connected to your computer. I mean, literally, if you had a really good mic like I do in the studio, you could sound like you were on the air. So you can do that at talkingrealmoney.com also. So let's take our first question. This one was called in.
I know you guys are not CPAs, but I have a question about the new child tax credit of $300 a month. Is that considered earned income for your child, and can I put that money into a Roth for my child? Thanks for the answer.
You are absolutely correct. We are not accountants, but this question is really easy to answer because it's in the name. The answer is in the name. It's a child tax credit. What the government is doing is giving you a credit against your tax bill. So if you owed $300 and you went and filed next year and took this as a credit, you would owe nothing. It would be a $300 credit. However, to help stimulate the economy, instead of waiting until 2022 to give you the credit, the government is giving you the tax credit early. They're advancing you the tax credit. So it is not money for your child. It is money for you to support your child in the form of a tax credit. So therefore, it's not taxable income either. So it's not taxable income to you, and it's certainly not earned income by your child, because to have earned income, you need to do something to earn the income. And that generally means a job. You got to have some W-2 income most of the time. 1099. This is neither of those. So, nope. But, hey, you get a bonus. I don't get one. All my kids are grown up. Darn it. There was method to Tom's madness, having a child at an older age. Now I see what he was doing. Mm-hmm. No, you can't do it. Sorry. But thanks for the call. And now we've got one that was not called in, but was recorded at talkingrealmoney.com.
Hi, Tom and Don. This is Mike from Colorado calling. Hey, I had a quick question. Thanks to Don's advice, I was able to invest in the Treasury bond, iBond, and I noticed that particular bond, it'll pay 3.54%, but it compounds semi-annually. And I know certain accounts actually will compound daily. I would like an explanation on how compound interest works. I've gone online and I see these calculators, and I understand it's interest on top of interest, but it'll just spit out what the total interest is after the term. And I was just hoping maybe you guys could walk me through, dumb it down somewhat, and maybe use an example. Take a $100 bond that pays 5% interest. I know simple interest is $5 a year, but when it pays semi-annually, are they taking half the 5% and putting it in 6 months and then the other? But at any rate, I was hoping that you guys could walk through compound interest and kind of give me a lesson, and I really appreciate it. Look forward to your answer. Have a great day.
That, sir, is a most excellent question. That really is a most excellent question because it's a wonderful opportunity to teach something. And it's a good thing to teach because we do hear a lot about daily compounded interest. We don't hear a lot about semi-annual compounded interest. But the reason the savings bonds are calculated on a semi-annual compounding basis is because they pay out that 3.54, at least for this 6 months, at the end of the 6 months. So therefore, if you roll it over, which you have to do, you roll it into basically you roll the $354 on $10,000 into a new 6-month period at whatever that rate is, and then that will get credited, and then it'll compound on that again. So it's only compounding every 6 months. The reason you see compounded daily is, for example, in a mutual fund, they may take in dividends from all kinds of different companies on a daily basis. They're paid different times. They may have a small capital gain that they realize and that gets reinvested. So they're compounding much more often. A bank may compound daily because they take your pathetic interest rate and they divide it by 365 and they pay a little bit every day, and then the money grows on that money. And you are wise to ask for an example because I've just confused everybody. Let's use the example that basically you gave. Let's put $10,000 into a bond that pays 3.54% and compounds semi-annually. If you hold that bond for 10 years and it pays 3.54% every single year, at the end of the 10 years, a full decade, you will have about $14,203. Okay? That's semi-annual compounding. Now, daily compounding makes you a little bit more money because you've got some of that money that you haven't been paid yet collecting interest going forward. So again, assuming $10,000 initial investment, 3.54% rate forever, ad infinitum, for a full 10 years, and we somehow daily compound that. So you get a little tiny piece of the 3.54% every day. Well, actually, you get about 1/100th of 1% every day for 360 days. How much more? How much more do you think you'd have after 10 years? You're gonna laugh because it's not that much more. It's a whopping $44 more after 10 years, averaging out to about $4 a year. That's it on 10 grand. $14,247 compared to $14,203. So, as you can see, not a big detriment to you. And you can't make savings bonds compound any other way because that's the way they work. So we take it that way, and you should be happy with it. I know I've got money in them, and I'm going to be happy with it because it's safe money with, at least now, a much higher return than any other absolutely safe money vehicle I know of, period. And I appreciate the question. Thanks so much for sending it in. If you want to send them in, go to TalkingRealMoney.com on the contact form. If you want to call it in, just call 855-935-TALK. And remember, on Saturdays, we take your calls live. Remember this because it works for anybody in the country. We're live in our own studios, broadcasting on Como Radio in Seattle on Saturdays from 3 to 5 Eastern Time, or noon to 2 Pacific Time. And you use the same number, 855-935-TALK, and we'll answer your questions in a more conversational format. Plus, there's even another way to get your questions answered if they're more complex set up an appointment with one of our advisors. They are, as we are, committed to educating everyone. And as I have to say over and over again, we're not offering you free financial services. Anybody who offers you those are lying. They're just hiding a commission. But we do offer free meetings on the phone, online, I guess even in person if you're in the Seattle area. And all you have to do is go to Vestory.com. That is our investment advisory firm, Vestory by Appella, and go down to the bottom of the page and just set up an appointment. We'll get in touch with you, verify that, confirm the appointment, tell you who it's with, and then you can send in your statements. We can sit down and go over what you have, why you have what you have, what's wrong with it, what's right about it, talk about your risk tolerance, all kinds of things. Try to help you get a plan. So set that up. It's really free. There's really no obligation, and they're not going to try and hit you with a sales pitch right between the eyes. This is not timeshare sales. Although I live in Florida, the land of timeshare sales. Went to lunch today and went, timeshare resort, timeshare. Don't get into this. Once again, the number, 855-935-TALK. If you love the show, and many of you say you do, please keep telling other people about it. That's the best way to build our audience. And you really can't have too big a podcast audience, can you? We want more. The bigger our audience, the longer Tom and I will keep doing this. That's a promise. So build our audience for us. And if you really like it, no matter what platform on which you listen to us, go to Apple Podcasts, set up a free Apple ID, and leave a review there, because that's the review place for podcasts. Be nice if somebody else had a popular one, but they don't. So go there. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you being there. Keep listening. Go back. There's hundreds and hundreds. I think we're at podcasts like 700 and some odd. So if you haven't listened back, go listen back. Some of you have. And if you have, we'll have more very soon. Thanks for listening. I'm Don McDonald, hanging out in my little tiny closet, talking real money.
Talking real money. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestory, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?